Hi, today I'll be giving a quick demonstration using Docker containers for building PCF controls within VS Code. So let's start by firstly giving you a quick demonstration of Docker, how we navigate around Docker desktop. So open Docker and we'll see the volume section. That's where your workspace will be set up. Image is what we'll be pulling down and storing from the public repos. And containers is what will be a subset of your image. That's building them pretty much like a virtual machine. And here is a virtual machine that runs Docker's underlying engine. And yeah, we use Hyper-V installation just so that things are simple. And here we'll just be creating a PCF control. Let's create a folder, go into the folder and open Visual Studio Code. Once we've got Visual Studio Code open, we'll need to install the devcontainer extension from Microsoft, which will let us pull the image down from the definition file that we'll specify in the JSON file and the Docker file in a moment. And really and truly, that's all you need to do is provide these definition files to get you started. So if we go over to Files and create the folder to place these definition files, the first one will first need to create a special folder called devcontainer. And then once we've created that, we'll go ahead and create the devcontainer.json file. And I'll show you an example of that online that Microsoft have in their documentation. For specifically, we need to build a container with Typescript. So they've provided an example very clearly what parameters to put in, or you could just write it straight away without any parameterization like arguments within the JSON file. And we just specify all the variants of the image that's available to pull. And then, yeah, if we quickly have a look inside the .devcontainer file, they give you a Dockerfile example of actually where you get the image from the internet. It will resolve this and pull the image down. And also we've got the dev.json, which we're just now trying to construct and define what's going to be installed on this container on top of the image. So in this case, we're going to install VS Code with some of the extensions that we need for building PCF. And that's all it is really. So then here's an example online from this repo. You could pretty much, similar to Docker containers, but it's on the cloud with GitHub code spaces. And you could use this example, run it natively on the cloud and just connect remotely with VS Code. But in this example, we're doing it for Docker desktop. We'll be building the image locally and then create a container on top. So we specified the dev container by copying the JSON details. Now I'm going to create a Dockerfile and just quickly paste in the definition of the image that we'll be pulling from Microsoft. The Microsoft image creates a little user, so that way we could easily log in and everything to that container. It's like a little virtual machine, and we need to now open the extension, the dev container. Once we open the, now that we've got the definition files, it will go ahead and start constructing the image if it doesn't exist in the container. So in this case, it doesn't exist. It was empty, and now it's going ahead and building out this image by downloading it and then installing all the required packages that I want and the extensions that I want. It takes a little while. So give yourself about 20 minutes time for all of this to work. I've kind of fast forwarded everything for the video magic. And then, yeah, let's just wait and see what happens. And one thing to know, you could see within Docker that you could just quickly have a check what's going on. You can see that actual image from Microsoft has downloaded. You could monitor if the container has been built. Nope, it hasn't been built based off the image. Again, you can see the MS build tools and all of that stuff is installing. So let's go ahead and close these windows. So the beauty of using Docker is pretty much it's not messing around with your host operating system with all these Node.js dependencies and stuff. It's all contained within the container. And Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. And we'll just go ahead and download a sample PCF control from Microsoft. So just a quick demo of a build as well. So and now that we've completed the creation of the Docker container, we could now pretty much drag and drop a PCF control from Microsoft sample, copy the folder over, and then we could go ahead and build it as well. Just quickly navigate to the right place. And then, yeah, well, before we do that, let's actually update the sample code, because the parser, when it's doing the build, is going to give an error on line 6. So I'm going to just quickly resolve that because of the way the index files and everything's been created with tabs and all of that stuff. So, yep, we've just done that little quick fix. And now let's go ahead and go into the folder. And once we're in the folder of this PCF control, we could pretty much install npm. Just go ahead and let it install Node.js. And it's all the dependencies that's needed for that package .json that's specified. So, yeah, so Node.js is installed nicely with its dependencies and everything. So now what we're going to go and do is pretty much just let's quickly compile and run and watch how this PCF control looks. So dev containers would allow you to do that. Yeah, video magic. So it's just quickly demonstrating this. Yep. So the browser will load of the PCF control. You could do your debugging. You could install further extensions to help with Typescript map files and everything. So let's just go and click on one of these and see the controls updating the value properties that we're importing. Yep. So next thing, we could now just do a test build. We're cleaning out with builds because we just was able to watch the thing work. So yeah, let's Ctrl C and get a break out of this washing stuff. And so yeah, it's just a test build. We know it already builds. It worked earlier on. It's just good practice to do a build before you start packaging your solution to make sure things are working as expected. So I'm just taking that caution at this moment. It takes a little while before I did enough video magic. So you can see it's all in the output folder like before. Now let's go ahead and build a Dataverse solution that we want for Power Platform. So make the solution folder. Let's create the publisher. I'll give it a unique name. I'll just use something generic here for this example. And then we just go ahead and pretty much now add the reference to the PCF folder. So if we just go ahead and copy the PCF folder location and just paste it in there, we'll add a Dataverse solution. Nope, let's do that. Yep, so there you go. It's now ready for Dataverse. Now we need to do the final build. It's going to rebuild everything and go through that process and produce that as zip file, the solution zip file that we could import into Dataverse quite easily. All of these files that you're seeing here are actually on your local machine. And what you're seeing in the terminal is pretty much Docker container running the virtual Linux kind of thing. So we've generated the solution file, and to how to navigate to your local machine folder, you could easily pretty much go to Docker desktop, go to the container, click on inspect the container. You can see the workspace amount location for your workspace, and that's it. And you can find your zip file there. All right. Thank you for watching. Hope this helps with your development workflow.